What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Dana White responded to Tom Aspinall's recent comments after the heavyweight champion expressed his disappointment with how Dana handled the UFC 321 controversy. When asked if he had spoken to Tom or knew anything about the situation, Dana admitted he hadn't talked to him directly yet. He said he understood why Tom was frustrated, but also mentioned he didn't fully remember the exact comments he made that sparked the reaction. Reporters reminded Dana that he had previously said he believed Tom's eyes were okay, and Dana clarified the context behind that. He explained that his comment wasn't meant to downplay the seriousness of the injury or dismiss Aspinall's concerns. Instead, he was simply repeating what he had heard from the medical updates provided to him at the time. Dana stressed that he's no doctor and would never pretend to be one. His statement was based on the information available to him, not a medical assessment. He went on to emphasize that the UFC has people staying in constant contact with Tom, checking up on him, and making sure he has everything he needs, whether it's medical help, specialists, or anything else during his recovery. Dana made it clear there was no negativity, disrespect, or dismissiveness intended in what he said. He acknowledged that comments can easily be taken out of context, especially in the fast pace of fight week interviews. Dana admitted he doesn't even remember word for word what he said, but insisted that at no point did he speak about Tom in a derogatory way or minimize what happened at UFC 321. He said he understands why Tom might be emotional or fired up right now, given the circumstances and uncertainty surrounding his injury. Dana ended by expressing confidence that Tom will heal, take the necessary time off, and eventually return to the octagon, where the heavyweight division will be ready and waiting for him. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news. Alexandre Pantoja has now spoken out after the shocking arm injury that ended his flyweight title reign at UFC 323. Pantoja, clearly disappointed but holding himself together with admirable composure, reflected on the heartbreaking moment that unfolded just seconds into the fight. The injury happened only 26 seconds into round 1 when Joshua Van caught a head kick and Pantoja tried to steady himself as he crashed toward the canvas. As soon as his arm posted on the mat, there was an audible pop in the elbow. Pantoja immediately grimaced, grabbed his arm, and waved off the fight. The referee stepped in, calling a stop to the contest, making Van the new UFC flyweight champion by injury TKO. Afterward, Pantoja released a short but emotional message on Instagram explaining what happened and how he felt going into the fight. He said he had arrived at the arena feeling like he was in the best shape of his life, with what he called the best camp, the best weight cut, and the strongest mindset he had ever brought into the octagon. He believed firmly that he could finish Van in the first round, and that was exactly the plan he attempted to execute. He described the octagon as my octagon, the belt as my belt, and the moment as something he had dedicated his entire life toward achieving and defending. Everything, he said, felt perfect. Pantoja went on to explain that after the injury, he talked with his wife about the situation. He said he realized this night was not just about him, but also about Joshua Van, and that perhaps it was Van's destiny to win the belt in this exact moment. He acknowledged that Van earned the victory, even if it came through an unfortunate accident. He also shared that he spoke with God, saying he received a message that gave him clarity, strength, and acceptance. He has always been a man of faith, and he emphasized how deeply he believes in every message he receives through prayer. Despite the setback, Pantoja promised that he would continue to work as hard as he always has. He reminded fans that he has fought through adversity his entire life, and he is ready to do it again. He vowed to come back stronger, rebuild himself, and reclaim the belt that he still considers his. Moving on to another news, Arman fired back at Paddy Pimblett's latest comments after the lightweight star decided to take several shots at him during the UFC's seasonal press conference for the 2026 lineup. With UFC 324 approaching, Paddy was doing a round of interviews, and during his conversation with Full Send MMA, he went off on Arman, questioning his resume, his past wins, and even his professionalism. Paddy mocked the fighters Arman has defeated, saying Dariush looked 65 with a full head of gray hair, and claiming Arman didn't really beat Charles Oliveira, insisting many fans believe he lost that fight. He brought up the incident where Arman punched a fan on the way to the cage and suggested the UFC probably had to deal with legal consequences afterward. Paddy didn't stop there. He accused Arman of pulling out of the title fight with Islam because of a bad back, implying he couldn't make weight. He pointed out that Arman sat out for months, then nearly ruined another main event by headbutting Dan Hooker at the weigh-ins before their fight. According to Paddy, all of these moments show Arman is a liability to the UFC, someone who creates chaos whenever the stakes are high. He also roasted Dan Hooker's grappling, saying if he had the same guillotine on Arman, he'd put him to sleep instantly. It didn't take long for Arman to see the clips circulating on social media, and he fired back instantly on X. He wrote that he could talk about how Paddy only fights aging veterans once a year, or how the UFC keeps giving him the easy path to what he called a paper belt. But instead, Arman delivered a direct message. He warned Paddy that if he ever found the courage to step into the octagon with him, there would only be one outcome, the one Paddy fears most, where everyone finally sees he's a fraud. Arman told him to keep running his mouth, but reminded him that when the octagon door closes, he'll be the one standing with his hand raised, while Paddy is the one being helped out of the cage. Meanwhile, Paddy switched gears when talking about his upcoming fight with Justin Gaethje. He said he wouldn't disrespect Gaethje the way James Vick once did, calling him Homer Simpson before getting knocked out. Paddy called Gaethje a legend and said he expects a war, praising him as every fighter's favorite fighter. He said it will be a pleasure to share the cage with him and hopes they deliver a 5-round brawl worthy of both a performance bonus and fight of the night. Moving on to another news. Dana White came out at the post-fight press conference and revealed some unfortunate updates regarding Pantoja. He confirmed that it was indeed Pantoja's shoulder that was dislocated during the fight, not his elbow, as many initially assumed. Backstage, the medical team managed to pop the shoulder back into place, but Dana explained that the situation is far from over. The doctors now need to run MRIs, evaluate the ligaments, and assess the overall damage before anyone can predict when Pantoja might return. Dana was honest, saying he's no doctor, but based on what he saw and what he's been told, he does not expect Pantoja to come back anytime soon. He added that injuries involving ligaments often take longer to heal than fractures, and in many cases, they're significantly more complicated. Dana believes that Joshua Van will likely defend his belt before Pantoja is able to step back into the octagon. He explained that even once Pantoja's shoulder structurally heals, there's still the long process of rebuilding strength, regaining confidence, and being cleared to strike, grapple, and train at full intensity again. All of that adds up to a recovery that could take much longer than fans might hope. The conversation grew even more concerning when a doctor on Twitter jumped in with his own analysis. According to him, Pantoja may have suffered a left supracondylar humerus fracture, which could have occurred due to an indirect mechanism where the arm extends during a fall and the force travels through the elbow up into the bone. He explained that when the hand hits the ground first, the impact transfers into the carpal bones, which then transmit that force through the forearm and into the distal humerus. This kind of injury can be extremely painful and often requires a lengthy healing period, sometimes involving immobilization or even surgery, depending on severity. If that early assessment turns out to be accurate, Pantoja might be facing an even longer road to recovery than initially expected. This type of fracture, paired with ligament damage from a dislocation, can create complications that make training impossible for months. Fans were hoping for a quick turnaround, but both Dana's comments and the doctor's evaluation point toward a much slower timeline. Right now, all anyone can do is wait for the official medical report and hope Pantoja heals smoothly. But as Dana said, the odds of him returning soon are extremely slim. Moving on to another news. Dana White explained why Arman still hasn't received a title shot, despite being the #1 contender. During the post-fight media session, Dana was asked directly why Arman has been left waiting, while Ilya is expected to move forward and unify against the interim title winner. Dana pushed back on the idea that Arman is the odd man out, but he made it very clear that Arman has to earn his way back after previously pulling out of the fight with Islam. According to Dana, that situation still matters, and it's not something the UFC can just pretend never happened. He said Arman had a real opportunity laid out in front of him, one that fighters work years to get, and everyone already knows how that entire situation ended. Because of that, Dana insisted that Arman must rebuild his way to the top again. He said he doesn't care what the rankings say or what number sits beside a fighter's name. What matters is following through when the biggest moments arrive. Too much planning, promotion, and preparation goes into these massive fights for something to fall apart at the last minute. Dana stressed that this isn't about punishing Arman, but about the reality of how the sport works when big opportunities are lost. He went on to explain that earlier in the night he was talking with people in his room about the kind of crazy situations that have happened throughout the last 20+ years in the UFC. He said they were reflecting on moments where things collapsed unexpectedly, changing divisions and long-term plans instantly. Dana pointed out that history has shown one consistent rule: you cannot get a huge opportunity, then pull out and expect everything to stay the same afterward. It just doesn't work that way. Dana wrapped up by saying Arman is talented and still very much in the mix, but the path is straightforward. He has to fight again, win again, and prove himself all over again. If he does that, he'll climb right back into the title picture. Until then, Dana made it clear that nothing is guaranteed, no matter what the ranking beside a fighter's name says. Moving on to another news, the UFC is now facing potential legal trouble after the chaotic Dillon Danis altercation at UFC 322 last month inside Madison Square Garden. During the event, a massive brawl broke out in the crowd, stopping the live broadcast as commentators and fans turned their attention toward the chaos. In the middle of it all was Dillon Danis, who appeared to be swarmed and jumped by around 7 guys from Dagestan, including individuals connected to Islam Makhachev's team, such as Abu Bakr and Magomed Ankalaev. From the footage that circulated online, it looked like Dillon was on the receiving end of the attack, though rumors suggested he may have sparked the confrontation by showing an AI-generated video mocking Islam. Regardless of how it began, Dana White made it clear at the post-fight press conference that Danis was banned from attending any future UFC events. After the incident, Dillon's Misfits title defense against Anthony Taylor was canceled due to medical issues he reportedly suffered during the brawl, which only added more fuel to the situation. That leads to Logan Paul, who spoke about the entire thing during a stream with Aiden Ross. Logan claimed that Dillon is preparing to sue both the UFC and Madison Square Garden, and he believes Dillon actually has a strong chance of winning. What makes this even more interesting is that Logan himself is currently suing Dillon over the situation involving Logan's fiancée, Nina Agdal. Yet despite their legal battle, Logan still thinks Dillon's case against the UFC and MSG might be successful. Logan pointed out that there's clear footage showing Dillon being attacked by multiple men, and even if he instigated things with a video, or if he was, as Dana suggested, stealing seats, that still doesn't justify a physical assault. Now that his fight was canceled, Dillon could claim compensation for missing out on that paycheck, as well as damages for injuries sustained during the brawl. Logan explained that Dillon is undergoing concussion protocol and even missed a deposition, citing those symptoms. And whether or not he actually has a concussion, Logan believes Dillon is playing the game and is in a position to potentially win big. If Dillon goes through with the lawsuit and wins, Logan thinks he could walk away with millions. Of course, this would further damage any chance Dillon has of being signed by the UFC, especially after already being banned. But from Dillon's perspective, if he believes that door is permanently shut, cashing out with a lawsuit might feel worth it. Still, like Dana often says, never say never. Moving on to another news, Petr Yan has made it clear he's not interested in giving Merab an immediate rematch after reclaiming the UFC Bantamweight title. Speaking at the post-fight press conference, Yan explained that despite Merab's dominant title run and 3 successful defenses, he believes Merab needs to work his way back up before getting another shot at the belt. According to Yan, the path is simple. Merab should fight Umar and earn a decisive win if he wants to return to title contention. Yan acknowledged that the stance might surprise fans, especially considering Merab's previous momentum as champion and how immediate rematches are usually automatic in similar situations. However, Yan stressed that merit matters, and recent performances should dictate the next opportunity. When asked whether he preferred a trilogy with Merab or a defense against Umar, Yan pointed directly to their recent fight. He reminded everyone that they all saw how Merab versus Umar played out, and from that alone, it should be obvious who poses the bigger threat. Yan suggested that Merab and Umar could rematch each other first, settle the debate, and then the division could move forward based on that result. He then shifted the conversation to his own journey, emphasizing that nothing was handed to him. Yan pointed out that after losing his belt, the UFC required him to take 3 more fights before he was even considered for another title opportunity. He said he had to earn his position the hard way, facing tough contenders and proving himself all over again. Because of that experience, Yan believes the same standard should be applied across the board. If he had to climb back up, then Merab should do the same. Yan closed by reinforcing that the bantamweight division is stacked with talent, and every contender needs to prove they truly deserve a shot. For him, the focus is on staying champion, taking on the most deserving challenger, and keeping the division moving forward with clarity and fairness. Moving on to another news, Merab shared his first reaction after losing his belt at UFC 323, posting a short video from inside an ambulance as he was being transported to the hospital alongside his close friend Aljo Sterling. In the clip, Merab looked exhausted but calm, speaking softly while thanking everyone who supported him throughout fight week. He wrote, "Tonight wasn't my night, but I will be back stronger than ever. Thank you everyone for your support." Despite the tough loss, he made it clear that his spirit remains unbroken and that he's already thinking about the road back. The video also showed Aljo sitting next to him, trying to keep his teammates' spirits high, while Merab mentioned that he was on the phone with his mother during the ride, reassuring her that he was okay despite the injuries. The moment captured the emotional side of the sport, reminding fans how much these athletes put on the line every time they step into the octagon. Merab didn't go into details about the injuries he suffered, but being transported straight to the hospital after the fight suggests he took significant damage. Still, his message remained focused and determined, promising a stronger return once he recovers and gets back to training. Moving on to another news, Dana White shared his reaction to Merab losing the bantamweight title at UFC 323, and the UFC CEO made it clear he has nothing but respect for the former champion. Speaking after the event, Dana praised Merab's grit, toughness, and relentless style, saying he's genuinely one of the toughest fighters he has ever dealt with. He admitted that he and Merab didn't start off on the best terms when Merab first entered the promotion, but over time, Dana grew to admire everything Merab accomplished, especially the heart and work ethic he brought into every fight. Dana also gave credit to Petr Yan for his performance, acknowledging just how impressive the new champion looked in the cage. He highlighted the vicious body shots, sharp head strikes, and strong wrestling exchanges that took place throughout the fight. Dana said it was a high-level battle from start to finish, the kind of championship fight that reminds fans why the bantamweight division is one of the most competitive in the entire sport. He pointed out that both fighters pushed each other to their absolute limits, delivering a main event worthy of the spotlight and pressure of the moment. Reflecting on the significance of the event, Dana noted that this was an incredible way to close out the ESPN era. With the atmosphere, the energy of the crowd, and the stakes at an all-time high, he said the final broadcast under that partnership could not have asked for a better showcase. From the striking exchanges to the wrestling scrambles, Dana described the main event as the perfect example of what elite MMA looks like. He wrapped up his thoughts by reiterating his respect for both men. Merab, he said, is a warrior who will bounce back as he always does. And Petr delivered a championship-level performance worthy of the belt. According to Dana, fans should expect both fighters to continue playing massive roles in the division's future.